The history of surgery is as old as the history of the human being. And the concept of surgery without sutures is an incomplete concept. The human being have been using the different suture materials from the ancient times, from the strips of the tendons, strips of the vegetables, to the acacia thorns, the blake ants, bites, and some Indian surgeons use the horseshoe hair also. Today we have number of suture materials, but we will discuss only the most commonly used suture materials in our daily life. We will discuss the most 10 important information points given on the packings of these suture materials. So if you take any of the suture material with packing, you will find the different important information points written on it. So if you start from the size of the suture, as written on this suture is 30, which is equivalent to metric. So actually the suture material, the diameter of the suture material or size of the suture material is taken in two systems. One is USP, the United States Pharmacopoeia system, and the other is metric system. So in USP, the suture material is taken as 30, 20, 40 for the smaller one, and for the bigger one 01, 02, 03, why it is true. Actually, initially in United States, when suture was formed, they were taken in the gauge as in a 0, 01, 02. With increasing number, the diameter of suture was increasing. But later on, with the manufacturing of the smaller diameter sutures, they just reversed the number for the smaller one, like the 02, 20, 03, 30. So 0 in the last and number in the beginning. So increasing number, decreasing diameter. Okay. So other system is the metric system. Metric system is actually the tenths of millimeter, taken in tenths of millimeter, and that is different for the collagen and different for the other synthetic sutures. Okay, so you will find the chart, a conversion chart from the USP to metric to millimeters on the internet. I will not go in the detail further, but for this one, suppose 30 is equal to metric, and if you see the chart, it would be, so this is the synthetic suture, so it would be equal to 0.2 millimeter. But if it would have been the catgut, it may be equal to 0.3 millimeter in metric system. Okay, so why size is important? The tensile strength of the any suture depends upon the two factors. First one is the size, and second is the material it is made up of. Okay, bigger the size, stronger the suture. The second important information given on the packing is the type of the suture material. Okay, so type of suture material is important to be known by the surgeon, because different materials have the different properties. So it is very important to know about to choose the proper suture for the proper tissue or proper wound. So different sutures have different properties, like the duration of absorbability, tensile strength, allergic behavior, carcinogenic behavior, infective behavior, capillary action, and others. Okay, basically the suture material are classified on the basis of the absorbability. Some sutures are absorbable, like vicryl and catgut, and others are non-absorbable, like silk and propylene. Further, they are divided whether they are the synthetic or natural, like chromic catgut. Catgut is a natural material taken from the submucosa of the animals. The cat may be misnomer, because it's not always taken from the gut of the cat, but from the sheep and other animals also. Submucosa of the intestine of the different animals. The vicryl or polygalactin is synthetic absorbable material. Silk is natural non-absorbable material taken from the silkworm. It's product of the silkworm. And propylene is non-absorbable synthetic material. Okay, so different sutures, absorbable sutures have different duration of absorbability. Like the catgut, may be plain without the paint over it of the chromium salts, and the chromic or pentate to increase the absorbability of that suture. The plain catgut might have the absorbability duration for 1 or 2 weeks, and the chromic may be more than 3 weeks. Okay, so the vicryl may have the duration of absorbability from weeks to months. Okay, and these non-absorbable sutures may not be absorbed completely, but they may lose the tensile strength with the duration of time. Okay. Then the tissue reaction, like the catgut has more tissue reaction than the propylene, so that also matters. And the braided sutures, what is braided? You may see here there is written on the vicryl or the polygalactin, it is the braided. All the multifilamentous sutures are braided like a rope, so they have more surface area, and they have more capillary action also, so they can retain the water and other material and infective material also, organisms also, so they may be cause of infection, and due to tissue reaction they may be carcinogenic. While the monofilamentous, like the propylene, they are less reactive to tissue and less infective, less carcinogenic, less allergic. Okay, that's why they are more important. So the silk and catgut are less likely used nowadays, except some exceptional cases. If there is unavailability of the sutures, the catgut may be used. Otherwise, in most of the countries, they have quite to use it. And the silk is more reactive to tissue and infective, so it is also exceptionally used in ligature of the vessels because the stability of the knot. The one thing important to note here, that different suture materials have different degree of the stability of the knot. The braided sutures like vicryl and silk have stable knot as compared to non-braided or monofilamentous like these propylene or catgut. Okay, so then we come to the other points. You see here there is the information given about the design, shape, length of the needle. It is also important to know, because suppose this needle has the 26 mm and this makes the 1/2 of the circle. Okay, 1/2 of the circle, this needle makes 1/2 of the circles. The different needles may have 1/4, 3/4, 3/5 of the circle. So why it is important? So suppose any needle which forms the 1/2 of the circle, okay, 1/2 of the circle, and suppose it is 26 mm. Okay, so needle of the same length, if I slightly flatten it, okay, like this, so this may be the 3/5, okay, or you may say 1/4 of any. Okay, so if you complete the circle, this may make the part of a smaller circle, but if you complete this circle, so this may make the part of a bigger circle. So you know that while working in the surgical field, we supinate and pronate and supinate, rotate the needle, okay, not drag it in straight way. We supinate and pronate, means we are making a circle. So bigger the circle means you need bigger surgical area, and but if you are working in deep or in a small surgical field, so you may need a small needle to work properly. That is one reason, okay, to know about the circle of the needle, okay. Secondly, you see a dot, a circle dot is given here. That means the needle is rounded, round bodied, and tapering. It is actually round. If you cut it in transfer section, you will see like this its body, okay. So it will split the tissue, it will not cut the tissue, okay. That's the important point. Okay. It is a round body or cutting. If it would have been cutting, so the sign would have been given like this, okay. But cutting needles have further two types, the cutting and reverse cutting. So now what is difference between the cutting and reverse cutting needle, okay. So suppose this is a needle, so this is not round like a previous one. If you cut it, you will find it is triangular shape, and the apex of the triangle is towards the curvature, where you, this is the direction where you apply the force. So cutting edge is in the direction of the force, it will cut more tissue. So to solve this problem, its apex is make on opposite direction like this, okay. So now this is the direction of force, and its sharp edge is on the opposite side, so it will only cut the tissue which comes in direct contact with this needle. So that's the advantage of the reverse cutting needle, okay. So round body is used where you work on the very soft tissues like gut, and the cutting where you are working on the fascias, skin, tough structures, okay. So sheaths. So that is difference between round body cutting and reverse cutting. So these were some important points you must know about the sutures before choosing any suture for any surgery. So in last I will briefly tell you that which sutures should be used in which surgery. Suppose a propylene or prolene suture are mostly used for the skin closure, for the tendon repair, for the sheaths closure, and for the especially for the vascular repair, okay. And then the vicryl for the soft tissues, subcutaneous tissues closure, or gut anastomosis, the ligation of the vessels and tissues, okay. And chromic catgut or chromic catgut nowadays less likely used, but can be used for the soft tissues, subcutaneous closure. Initially it was used for the gut anastomosis also, and other soft tissues, okay. Silk less likely used today. Initially it was used for the skin closure and ligation of the vessels because of its stable knot. And other sutures, the polydextrinone, which is not available here, may be used for the CBD surgeries on the hepatobiliary system. So that's all about the sutures. And if you like my lecture, subscribe my channel, stay connected, and keep learning. Thank you very much.